Hello. So, as you may know, in partnership with the Institute of Pension Management, Nation Media Group is hosting the first ever, or the first edition of the Pensions Conference and Expo at the KICC. This will be happening on the 28th and 29th of November. You may know this from our previous episode. The theme of this year is Enhancing Social Protection for Inclusive Growth. Hashtag Protect Future Yako. And as you probably have seen from our previous episode, on this episode, I have two amazing gentlemen who will be here. We are just realizing the gender third rule is not applying. So we're a bit embarrassed with that. But the idea is to understand pension, life insurance. I have Martin on my left, and I have George on my right. Yes, gentlemen, allow me to give you the honor to introduce yourselves. So we'll start with Martin.
Thank you, Kevin. My name is Martin Oluoch. I am the head of pensions at Britam Life, and our main purpose as Britam is safeguarding your dreams and aspirations. Thank you very much, Kevin.
Awesome. George?
Thanks, Kevin, and thanks for having me here. My name is George Oyuga. I am the director in charge of retirement solutions at Kuza Asset Management Limited. So Kuza is about nurturing people's financial journeys. And that's why we're in existence. Thank you.
Awesome. I like that. Nurturing people's financial journeys. Exactly. Could you just expound on that? Because nurturing has a very broad meaning. So in essence, in details, how does that look like?
Good. Kuza is a Swahili word that means to nurture. And nurturing means being present with whatever you're nurturing for the entire life cycle that it has. So what we've done is we are trying to speak into the gaps that have been in the market where we have many other people peddling products as opposed to solutions. So for us, what we do, because we are about solutions, is to try and map people's financial journeys, see at every given life cycle, every stage and the like, what needs do they have and what solutions do we have in our bouquet of solutions that can then speak to that particular need. Wow. So it's a whole journey altogether.
All right.
So it touches on savings, then it touches on the growth aspect of investments, and by so we are able to make people happier and put more smiles to people's lives.
Thinking about their future.
Yes.
Martin, would you say that's the same thing that Britam is doing here in terms of insurance?
Exactly. That is what Britam is doing in terms of insurance. So let me say, while George focuses more on the investments aspect, we also have the aspects for life insurance, general insurance. So what Britam tries to do, we are diversified in the financial world, where we focus on giving you financial solution on a circular or all round on your life cycle.
Right.
So from the point when a child is born to the point when the child is going to school, we'll give you education policies. We'll give you health insurance at the point when the child has been born. And we'll continue even as you're working, we'll give you various solutions, financial solutions that will actually suit you.
Right.
But the main purpose why we are here today is to talk about retirements.
Right.
Because from the point the child is born to the point the child goes to school, from the point this child now becomes an adult and starts working, to the point now you need to start thinking about saving for retirement at a very young age until the time when you retire. So it's more like preparing you for the journey. And as Britam, our brand statement is actually with you every step of the way.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah. So from the time when you were born to the time when you retire, maybe I won't say the next story, but
to the time when you leave us.
We will be with you
all
every step of the way.
Then let's start from there, retirement. And I'm thinking of it from a young person's perspective. Now, I am in the corporate sector, working at Nation Media Group. I think I forgot to introduce myself. Kevin Maina, digital journalist at Nation Media Group. This is how we also forget to say for retirement. So my question is, as a young person, how do I get started? You want to be with me every step of the way. You want to nurture my future investment. Where do I start?
Okay.
Yes.
We premise our value proposition on the philosophy that retirement is a journey. So then the question begs, at what point does this journey start?
Okay.
So we say this journey starts with your first earning, not first job, first earning.
I like that. Uh-huh.
Yeah, because that maps it straight into your income. So the first income you get is actually the ignition key that should propel you to actually start planning for your retirement.
Okay.
Why? Because this first earning puts you on a pedestal of continuous income at a given cycle. If you are in formal employment, maybe it's a monthly cycle. If you are in a casual labor environment, then we are talking about maybe a wage, you know? If you are in business, then it depends with how often this business is able to pay you. It can be quarterly, it can be based on maybe, it can even be very seasonal and erratic, depending on the kind of work that you do. So because the young person here may be actually in all those spaces. There's one young person who is in formal employment. For them now, we're talking about the monthly cycle, and they may actually be even in a space where retirement planning has been structured within their contracts of employment. There are others where you are maybe in an SME or in a gig, for example, and for you, your earnings are a bit erratic, and therefore you need to take personal charge and sit on the driver's seat to actually do that. And all this propels you to think ahead and say, a time will come when this income will not be there. So there are two questions there. You will still need money.
Yes.
Maybe not through you working, but someone else working on your behalf. So someone else working on your behalf, if you push that someone to become maybe your relative and the like, then black tax checks in there.
Yes.
Where
Yes.
we have so many young people supporting their parents because the parents missed the bus on this retirement planning journey.
Yeah.
If it's not the siblings or children taking charge of that, then it is maybe the government through social security provisions.
Yes.
And of course, we know with constrained budgets and the like, that's not a burden you want to push to the government. So the best person who should take over that role should actually be the money you're making today, so that your money works for you to feed you during that phase of life.
Yeah.
And to some extent, it's normally the longest.
People
don't realize that.
That's true.
Because you're doing everything to live long. Yeah. You're running away from trouble.
Yeah.
Every time something blows near you, you are on your heels, running away.
Yeah.
You want to live longer. You're eating well, exercising well, avoiding stress and all that. Access to medication is also there. So what that tells you is that people are living longer today than they used to live previously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So young people, that time is coming.
Start on.
We better start right away.
I'll shoot the same question to you, Martin.
Yeah.
You talked about walking with me every step of the way. Now I have been born. I can't even walk myself. So how do you start walking with me every step of the way?
Kevin, probably as a young person in the corporate, as you've just mentioned.
Yes.
You're used to a monthly income.
Yes.
And probably the question that I get from young people is, I can invest in other things, or I can save this money, put it in other areas, build a house. So you can build a house today. Let me take that particular example. Then something comes up somewhere in between, and it's an investment. It comes with risks. It's one of the demolitions that are taking place somewhere, and you lose that particular property.
Yeah.
So where will you be? You can invest in shares, and then the share prices keep drifting and drifting and getting to negatives.
Yes.
So as you need to have various what are called boxes or packages that you invest in. And one of the key ones, and what I'll call sort of the safe haven for you, is in retirement planning, where the key focus, you see, we are experts in in investments. We are experts in investments, especially when it comes to retirement funds. We know which areas that when we invest these funds, it will be able to sustain you at the point when you retire.
Yeah.
So the key question is, as you're saving, the key purpose or what you should be thinking about is, at what age do I want to retire? That is one. And then after I retire, should I continue earning some some income on a continuous basis?
Yeah.
Or do I want, as George has mentioned, to rely on your children to support you? So it's about you thinking about whatever little I get at the moment, can I be able to be putting aside something to support me when I retire? Because it's quite clear that you won't work all your life.
Yes.
And sometimes, and this is more of personal, I think, should the retirement age still be at 50?
It's at 50. Not to 60. It's at 50 now.
So the early retirement age is at 50.
Okay.
So it depends, from 50, it depends on what your employer or
right.
You as a person will decide, but you as a person, probably if you're still in your 20s, do you want to work until 50? So those are some of the things that you need to really think through as a young person. Why would I have to wait until 50? Maybe at the age of 40, I want to start traveling and seeing the world. I want to start doing something, probably that passion. I've made enough money by the time I get to 40. So how much do I need to put in? And maybe to the young people, I can just talk about, and I know George might also add on this, the compounding rule. Because when it comes to retirement investments and saving for retirement, there's a compounding. The amount of money that you invest, it's grown on a compounding basis. Yeah,
this is where the interest
earns interest.
Right,
exactly. So there's a 72 rule for compound interest.
Right,
where if you can put on average, how much interest rate do you expect to earn from your pension funds? You can come up with an average. It could be 2%, it could be 3%, it could be 4%. If you divide it by 72, it will indicate the number of years it will take for your money to double. So as you're planning for your retirement, I think that is one aspect that you should continuously think about. So if I've put in, like in a whole year, you're saving, let me say, 10,000 shillings every month. At the end of the year, you've made 120,000. So if I'm getting an average interest of 4%, how many years is it going to take for the 120,000 to actually double? So that is an aspect that I would encourage the young people to continuously use when you're even putting in areas where you're putting your investments in. And try and put in as much as possible so that you retire much earlier with enough money to take care of.
I like that. You wanted to add something?
Yeah, I wanted to add something that I like what Martin has said. There is the legislated and then there is the contractual retirement age or point.
Okay.
So legislated in Kenya is that early retirement age is at age 50.
Yes.
But after the age 50, you're given the leeway, either based on your contract where you're employed or when you set it personally, when you're the one taking charge of your retirement journey, then you set it at any other age above that. So if you want it at 55, 53, that will be yours.
Yes.
Other than where your contract dictates. But there is another type of retirement. So if my contract dictates that I should retire at 60 and I live at 55, 55 is early retirement for me. Is it?
Yes, it
if
is.
my contract says 55 and I live at 50, 50 is early.
Yes.
But the earliest anyone should do to at least allow everything to be almost controlled is 50 for Kenya. Is it? Now, there is another type of retirement. If I retired, the set age is normal, early, but there's another one called ill health retirement. And that one, nobody has control over it.
Yes.
Because it may take an accident.
Yeah.
It may take something that impacts your health such that you can no longer do what you're used to doing.
Yes.
It may be terminal illness and the like. But you see, it's also a type of retirement. And even that one should actually find you prepared. So what I normally tell people is to do the 1% rule. Martin has talked about the 72
yes.
rule.
No, this is the 1%.
Rule. So the 1% rule basically is simply saying that if you take all that you have saved today, yes, divide or take 1% of that amount, yes, that will give you an indication of how much you will have at your disposal on a monthly basis. If you're doing something like an annuity and you've saved, for example, $1 million, 1% of $1 million will be 10,000 shillings.
Yes.
So that 10,000 will be your monthly going forward. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about starting with the end in mind to a point whereby by the time you retire, you have accumulated enough such that 1% is actually a figure you can live with or within, you know? So when you start with the end in mind, you will not be boxed into the contribution rates or the saving thresholds that either your employer or whoever it is has set for you.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So it's not more about an amount conversation or a rate conversation of your earnings. It is about what am I targeting? Retirement must start with that dream conversation. How much do I want to earn when this pay slip drops off so that now my savings are paying me?
Yeah.
So if the 1% is something you can live with, then fine. So when people do that 1% test, yes, they actually get surprised. Yeah, because when someone may be sitting today and saying, I have saved 1 million, you know, this 1 million, 1% of it is 10,000. Yeah. And by the way, even those who go for annuity quotations, it does not fall too far from that figure. It may vary depending on your gender and age at the time you're going and the like, but it will fall just somewhere close there. So for the 1%, if it's $1 million, you're saying you'll get a quote of 10,000 or 9,000 or 8 or even 11, depending on prevailing interest rates, your gender, and maybe how markets are performing at that particular time. So that 1% is where income replacement ratio must always be within your focus. You know the way when you're driving, you talk about your dashboard.
Yes.
It tells you almost everything, including tire pressure and all that. Your dashboard must always tell you, where am I with this 1%? If it is inadequate, you are still doing the rate recommended for example, for your scheme, then utilize, there's something we call additional voluntary contributions.
I wanted to ask about that.
Yes, utilize that space to top up, targeting that your 1% should be adequate. And now you see the journey is good and relaxed when you're talking about normal retirement and early retirement. Yes. The question in the room today is, what about ill health retirement?
Wow.
Because that one can happen as soon as tomorrow.
Yes.
In fact, Kevin, if I might just add it.
Yes, please.
And probably from an insurance perspective.
Yes.
If you've ever taken a life insurance, you're expected to pay premiums on a monthly basis. So as Britam, we'll provide you with a life insurance where we encourage you that we are insuring you until a certain sum assured, let me say $1 million shillings, but we expect you to be contributing on a continuous basis. And in case anything happens, Britam will pay your beneficiaries the amount that has been indicated as the sum assured. Now, what George is talking about is with the main intention of being with you every step of the way. While you're still alive, of course, we'll go the option of life insurance, where we are trying to consider all the risks. But as you retire, it gets into the reverse. And that's the annuity product George is talking about.
Right.
Where now, as an insurance company, we tell you, okay, Kevin, how much have you saved for your retirement? You will say 1 million, as George has indicated. Then we'll assure you that for the rest of your life, and that's the whole concept of every step of the way, for the rest of your life, we'll be paying you the 1% option. They say George says it keeps varying, but we'll be paying you for the rest of
of your life.
Your life, so long as you've attained the age that has been highlighted. So it's about getting a pension. It's what I know in contents most of us refer to as pension.
Yeah.
You, as much as you're not working, you're at home, there will be a continuous payment that you will be receiving either on a monthly, quarterly, half-yearly, or annual basis.
Yeah. All right. I'm curious. I know this might be a tangent, but I'm curious about the life insurance.
Yes.
That I'm insuring my life. What does that mean?
George has talked about critical illness.
Yes.
What if something happens today?
And you pass on.
Yeah. Because as I mentioned, especially when I was introducing myself,
right,
our main purpose is safeguarding your dreams and aspirations. So in case something happens, will Britam be there for you? So that is what life insurance is about. So you pay a continuous premium. I know George used an example of a vehicle. You will pay your premiums for a vehicle on an annual basis. That is general insurance, or maybe the number of months or the period you would prefer to be insured. If nothing happens, of course, it's sort of a pooled sort of analysis. If an accident happens, the insurance company will pay.
Okay.
If nothing happens, then of course now you won't get your money back, but of course you'll get better rating or to take cover for the next period.
Right.
Yeah. So that is what happens with life insurance. Is we cover you for a particular period in case something happens, be it critical illness, an unfortunate death. Then your beneficiaries can be able to continue benefiting.
Yes. All right, because I was asking why is it important to me to insure my life if I'm going to be out of here anyway? Gentlemen, I want us to, we have talked a lot about corporate, and for us who are assured of a monthly earning, there's something called the gig economy that many of us young people are in. We are freelancers, we're business owners, we do not have the legislative rule of retirement. So what do you tell this person in terms of pension? He's not earning a standard salary. Some months are here, some months are there. What do you tell this person?
Okay. You remember in my introduction, I talked about earning.
Yes, right.
And it was very, very, I would say, strategic. Because if you talk about salary, then you alienate. Speaking to a cluster that earns a salary. So if it's earning, then this earning will be income coming into your pocket from whichever source. And let's make reference to the gig economy you've talked about. It has good days and bad days.
Very bad days.
Yes, and very bad days. Is it?
Yeah.
But there is a pattern that, as erratic as it may seem, there will be always maybe something coming in, is it? So what the industry has is the space we call the personal pension plan. Because we say retirement is packaged corporately.
Yes.
But it is consumed individually and personally.
That's true. Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
Yeah. We will talk about it in big towns, package it corporately and the
but
like.
It's
but
you
consumption,
as an individual.
Even when you work for a big corporate, the day you hear that phone call from HR's extension, yes?
Yeah.
It is you and you alone.
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
Pegged either on your retirement, on your birthday, so now you're on your 60th birthday or 55th and the like and all that, is it?
Yeah.
So the personal pension plan accords everybody the opportunity to be able to take the driver's seat and plan their retirement.
Right.
And this is where actually the practice of mapping it around your dreams becomes a reality.
Right.
If in my retirement, I want to travel the world, yes, what kind of budget am I looking at, you know? Then I work that backwards, and there are retirement calculators almost everywhere, like apps and all that.
Yeah.
I can work that backwards to tell myself, if I'm targeting to maybe be saving $1 million every quarter, or spending $1 million every quarter for my travels and all that, is it? I can work it backwards to know how much I need to start putting in today. So there is no limit on what you need to put in a personal pension plan. And whatever goes in there also gives you a chance to save on your tax because the first 20,000 shillings going into a registered personal pension plan like the one we have at Kuza accords you tax exemption. And that's a good thing. So we tell people, don't write yourself off and say that's a conversation for those guys who are in formal employment and the like. Even you, do you have an income? Yes. If you have an income, whatever the source, yes, is it? So here's a personal pension plan. Plug in, register, start saving there based on your dream. Don't even ask, how much are people putting in? Is it 1,000 or 2,000?
Make it
your dream. Personalize it. Once you personalize it, then you'll be able to now save according to that. And you know, when you start early, and this is why this is very important for young people, when you start early, compound interest becomes your buddy. Because you'll be putting in small amounts, but with compound interest, it's like it balloons to a point whereby along this journey until the time you reach your retirement age, now you are able to get something substantial. If you start late, then I'm telling you, raising what you need to map on your dreams will become a very steep journey. So you'll be forced to put aside a lot of money simply because your horizon is very, very short.
Awesome.
Interesting. Maybe I can just take it up from where George has left it on the personal pension. I think that is a way of investing. But it's called the gig generation. So you always find that you end up employing one or two people to support you.
Yes.
So as Britam, we've looked at it differently, where we are looking at a product that is best suited for the SME market.
Okay.
So we have the Britam umbrella schemes.
Okay.
So it's not only about you as a person.
It's also an extension of the people that you have.
The people that you have to invest for their retirement.
Yes.
And I think this also comes in with the mandatory contributions for the NSSF Act 2013. So you can be able to contract out your tier 2 contributions to our Britam umbrella schemes as a corporate. I know George has mentioned about, it's as a corporate, but who gets the benefit?
The individual.
The individuals.
Even this one is an umbrella, but you're the one shading yourself from the future rain.
Still packaged the same way I said, but
the
consumed by the individual. And umbrella schemes have that. At least it's good you guys have also done that, even as we've done the same. So it's a good thing that we are able to also package the same so that as you come in as an SME owner, as Martin says, you are able to bring on board the people around you. And you know, we are in a social society. Let me call it that way. Social society. Yes. Why? Because you'll never retire alone and think you'll enjoy it. If you're the only guy driving a car in your village, then my friend, it will become the village ambulance.
Yes, that's true.
Is it? You're the guy people will call at night. When they have someone to take to hospital. Is it? So you must retire with people around you, including your siblings. By the way, check on them. Hey, man, I'm in a personal pension plan. Are you? Because otherwise, black tax, you'll be my burden.
I don't want you to be my burden. Amazing.
Maybe the other thing I can just mention, Kevin, briefly, is the world is a bit dynamic. So currently, someone could be an artist.
Yes.
So the question for the young generation, the gig generation, is 10 years down the line, as an artist, do you think your music would still be at the same level it is right now?
Yes.
So there's a possibility you might be retiring early. And when you make the good money, you really need to put aside something. And I think the personal pension, especially if you are acting as an individual and not a corporate, then that would be the best way to actually ensure that you always, because the personal pension provides flexibility.
Yes.
You can decide to be putting aside something regularly, or when you really make something good, you can take a certain percentage of your salary and put it into the personal pension.
I like that. Flexible and adaptable.
Exactly.
Awesome. Remember, this is just a teaser of the conversations that will be going down at the expo that will be happening on the 28th and 29th, courtesy of Nation Media Group, in partnership with the Institute of Pension Management. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today. I've learned so much.
Thanks,
I was brought into this, I was automated into the industry.
Yes,
Now I understand the nitty-gritties. I need to go back and now calculate my 1% and use the 72 rule to see to see where I stand.
Okay.
So yeah, see you on the 28th and 29th. Come through. We will have these fine gentlemen and many, many more pension businesses right there for you to engage with. Remember, the hashtag is Protect Future Yako. See you then.